Okay, good afternoon. We're going to be talking today about some LinkedIn activity related to our career planning course. We're going to be talking about some questions that some customers have asked us specifically and some challenges that they've come upon related to networking. So, since many of you are watching on Facebook, this is obviously another networking platform. So, what we're going to do today is we will be talking through the issue of how do you use LinkedIn when you're age restricted, which is really the issue that we've come upon with some of our customers, and they're just letting us know um, we're age restricted. So just to repeat, since I'm seeing the live thing pop up correctly now, the what we're going to talk through is how do you use LinkedIn when you're age restricted. Um, our career planning course does is a very I mean one thing about our career planning course is it's an active course in terms of you're not just sitting there learning stuff, you're actually doing. And one of the things we have you do on the LinkedIn is try to figure out what it is that you might like to do. And a great way to do that is to connect with other people. And I won't go into a lot of detail with that because there's just not enough time. But we have run into multiple customers that have let us know that they have some challenges with that, actually doing the assignments. So I'm going to actually go through one of those customers today and just kind of see how to deal with that. So this content shows up, or this content shows up in our career planning course. We also is going to show up in our entrepreneurship course. And a little bit in the How Money Works course, you'll see some of the similar concepts. It's the career planning one that really drives you down to do the activities. But all three courses are heavily focused on networking. So, but give you a little bit of background why. Um, one of the principles that we have noticed over the years, whether you're a teenager or you're an adult in corporate world, is that people don't really think about what they want to do. We just go out and we get a job based upon we're good at X, Y, and Z, so we go to college to get a degree in that, and then from that we get a job without a whole lot of thought about who I want to work for, what kind of work I want to do. So here's the email that we got from one of our customers. This is from Jackson in Texas. And so his email reads, I started using your career planning course last week. I've really enjoyed sitting down and just writing stuff down. There's a lot of activity in the course that has you thinking through what you want to be doing. Yesterday, I set up my LinkedIn account and started building my profile. Everything went fine, and I connected with a few people as well, something that's part of the assignment. But when I got when I got on today, they asked me if I was older than 18, and I think there was probably a prompt that came up that asking that. When I said no, then they asked me when I was born. Once I told them that, I'll probably put in a date. They Once I told them that, this is what it said. And then it came up with a screen that says, you must be older than 18. No, you must be 18 years or older to use LinkedIn in your area. So, and Jackson was basically, okay, what do I do now? So this kind of has shown up as weird. Well, I guess not weird. It's kind of shown up as something that we just hadn't seen in this way. LinkedIn's requirements used to be 13, as probably did Facebook's and a lot of the other platforms. But because of many of the things that have gone on over the last couple of years, these platforms have changed age restrictions. And apparently LinkedIn depends on where you are. I think officially LinkedIn's age restrictions are 16. As I dug through their user agreement. the other day. But apparently in some states or cities or whatever, they have different laws or rules or regulations about how old the users are supposed to be. So that's what Jackson was running into, and he's just like, okay, I stuck this out there, so what do I do about it? So let's kind of talk through a couple of the things that we can do, though. Because the point, though, is what we're doing is the point is we want to network. And what I mean by that is we want to be able to go off and find people that are doing something that is interesting to us. So, right now we're working with multiple people that are starting companies, and they're trying to, there's 2 or 3 people I'm working with in different scenarios that are doing video type companies, trying to find people who are in the video business. One person trying to find a person who is a professional YouTuber that does sports activity. There's another one that is doing video from a perspective of using drone video for creating things for YouTube and other platforms. So lots of people in the video business. So one of the things they want to do is they want to find out who's doing it and doing it successfully, and learn from people that have been there before. As you would see in Proverbs, find advisors, right? It makes your life easier. It keeps you from making mistakes. It keeps you from, oddly enough, finding advisors keeps you from spending too much money on an avenue that you might have to do. For instance, we see a lot of people who start businesses who buy too much. They want to start where somebody else is already. And we see people who go to college that maybe spend way too much for something they didn't necessarily need. But here's a couple of things that we talked to Jackson about. So let me just show you a couple of or talk you through some of them. And I'm going to just kind of pull up LinkedIn where we're doing this. Is one thing you can do. So you should be able to see my LinkedIn screen there. One thing you can do is use your parents' LinkedIn. Now, so if my son or somebody else got in on my LinkedIn account, as long as they're not representing themselves as me, that's fine. But one thing that we like to do on LinkedIn is go up to this search bar and start searching for people's names. And so if I just typed in video in the example I just said, and I could type in drone and stuff like that, and or any other parameters, and I click on people right there. And I'm just doing this very quickly, but in the course, we do this a lot. So I see a whole lot of people here that are involved in video. So if you are, or your son or daughter is using your LinkedIn profile or one that's built for you, this is really all they are doing. They are trying to find people in their city, in their area, who are already practicing the profession. And LinkedIn is a great way to do that. And you can just get on LinkedIn and you can specify locations and do some things like this very easy. So it's not, I don't think it's any misuse of LinkedIn to do that, because that's all you're really doing is trying to find people to connect with. And so but the goal is to start, it is not to use LinkedIn. The goal is to find somebody who they are, and then find their email address. And then you're not on LinkedIn at all. But in terms of a research tool, using a parent or somebody else's connections or somebody else's LinkedIn profile is actually a great way to go. So if your parent can sit there with you if that need be. But it's a safe route to go. Because again, these rules and restrictions in Jackson's case here, it's not trying to violate. It's not trying to keep Jackson from doing something. It is LinkedIn's policy to protect LinkedIn, to protect Jackson too, but because there's predators and there's all kinds of activity going on here. And the reason these companies are doing it is either because the law restricts them from doing it, or because just their own liability. They don't want to be part of that. So this is a great way to do it. And I think this is probably where a lot of us are starting anyway. A a second path, though, maybe you sit there and say, well, this that's great. Maybe one or both parents don't necessarily have LinkedIn, or there's not somebody that has LinkedIn out there. But using a parent's or somebody's is a great way to start. If you don't have that, then the other option, get my mouse back here, or another great option would be just to do Google searches. Now this is just staying off LinkedIn altogether. And you might be able to do some of this on Facebook, on Instagram. They're a little more challenging to zero in on locations. LinkedIn allows you to really zoom in on locations, which is powerful because it's hard to talk to and learn from somebody that's all the way across the country. Well, maybe not, but it might be better for you. It might be better for your son or daughter to learn from somebody that's right there in their neighborhood. But using Google and just getting onto a web search engine and start looking about video production. So if I just let me play. Let me go back here to the screen. Now let's just play with this for just a minute. So if I just go in here and type video production, and I'm just going to use I'm going to use Austin, Texas. That is not where Jackson was, but it's Texas, right? So here, what I'm finding here is for Austin, Texas creative agency production. So we see Jason Reisner Company Photography, which probably sounds like he does video, Austin Video Production. So we see all these people who are actual businesses who appear to be operating in Austin, at least best I can tell. But you're just going through a Google search and finding these, and then you would be able to hunt down the people. A lot of these, because the kind of business it is, a lot of these are going to be self-owned. They're going to be small businesses, and so the owner is going to be sitting here, will be the person you're contacting. So that's what we're looking at here. So if I just go into the Austin agency right here, and let's see what we've got here. See if we have, you never know what you're getting into here, but we have some contact information. I can't really see who we are. So, you can get in here and find out who they are, and you'll be able to, number one, figure out if this is the group of people you want to learn from, and just number two, be able to, hunt them down off, because it's a company. There's names and email addresses of who to contact and to learn from. And one of the key principles of the course is people who are already doing something love to teach other people. I was just talking to somebody just last night and introduced two people, somebody who is beginning into a business and somebody who is an expert of the business. In the expert, the one who has years of experience in revenue, made the comment, I love helping other people get started in this business. And so he was giving the guy his phone number and everything like that. That's what you want, right? That's the core idea here. All right. So Google is a good way to do that. So let's go to the go old school. So just kind of just do something totally different. So this will be a third option if you're trying to get away from LinkedIn. Is maybe, and we haven't always had LinkedIn, we haven't always had Google, we haven't always had these tools, and people seem to figure out who was doing what, and they just did old-fashioned networking. So this amounts to talking to more people. So talk to people at your church, tell them what you're doing, ask them if they have connections in the field. So if I'm at church is pretty easy because there's probably people doing video in the church who know other people doing video in the industry. But as I am doing video, as I'm talking to people in the church and just saying, hey, I'm looking for other people that, I'm interested in a field in video, or getting involved in video or drone video or whatever it is you're interested in, and just start letting everybody know. I mean, this is the principle for finding work, right? We tell people that when they're trying to find work, let everybody know the kind of connections you're looking for, because it doesn't matter that the person sitting next to you in the pew or the person that's at the ball field with you, their parents, it doesn't matter that they may not be in that business. They all know people. They have brothers and sisters and cousins and friends and their church members and people they know. So just old-fashioned networking is probably even more powerful than LinkedIn anyway. And at the end of the day, that's really what we're after. We're using LinkedIn or Google searching and anything to get to people. And sometimes they're a faster way, but just going out there and talking to people and letting people know what you're doing. I mean, this is great for teenagers because the one thing that for me and you and for moms and dads, people are not often going to ask us what we do, not in the same setting. But for teenagers, a common question they get is, hey, what are you going to do after you graduate? And if you say, well, I'm thinking about going into the video business, do you know anybody in that I can talk to? That's all you need to do, right? You're just looking for emails, text messages, text phone numbers, whatever you can do to get to the next level. So, all right. So let me put in a fourth one here. And what I'll say about this one is let us help you. And we're noticing more and more that there's some people that we're just actually getting on Zoom calls and we're doing some extra stuff to help them. So we're soon going to be offering this as a service. If you are interested in getting more help and getting some actual hands-on where we help you find the people to connect and get you the email addresses or phone numbers or maybe even do introductions sometimes to really move it along. My experience has been a lot of people are shy, introverted, whatever you want to call it, and they're a little hesitant to do the research, to reach out. They're not exactly sure if we get on LinkedIn or something how to do that. Now the beauty of that is if you're using our LinkedIn profile, which is what we would be doing, we would be using our LinkedIn profiles to help you hunt people down. So the beauty of LinkedIn is the more connections you have, the more connections you have. So we have lots of connections on LinkedIn that could help you. So again, if you're interested in that, I know many people watch this later. If you'll send us a message either on Facebook or comment on Facebook, send us an email. You can just send us an email to support@askdrcallahan.com. And we will, so support at askdrcallahan.com or just dcallahan@askdrcallahan.com. We will get back in touch with you about how we could do that. So letting us help you get through it would be, we're actually finding that more and more to be the case of what we're doing with a lot of people for different reasons. So Jackson, in his case, I don't exactly know what he decided to do. We might end up doing that with him, but he was obviously on it. And I will say one thing, that's the key. He's going after it. He ran into an obstacle. He let us know, and we're giving him some tools to work through the obstacle. And if he works through any of these tools, right, with us or without us, or doing it on his own, doing it old school, any one of these paths he takes sets him apart. I could go on for that all day, but I won't. So let us know if we can help you. Let us know. So here's the last suggestion. I'm putting it last because this is going to be a little controversial, but what you could do, and what I do know a lot of people who have done that have run into this, or they've told their kids to do it, it's just put different ages in there on LinkedIn, or put a different location, like Jackson could have picked somewhere besides Texas. That is technically against LinkedIn's policy. Well, actually, that is against LinkedIn's policy. They don't want you to do that. um, for their own protection. But that is LinkedIn's policy, and so I will say to you, and you know, my first inclination to that, as I was telling somebody about this one time, it says, you know, you're that would be violation of policy, except that, you know, they pointed out to me that, have you read all the user agreements for all the software you have? You know, these long user agreements. I'm not recommending this. I'm just, and if this is a path that you think makes sense, discuss it with your parents. What some, I do see a lot of people who will change their location and their birth date or whatever it's asking you for there for different reasons. I know a lot of women who will not give their location and will not give their birth date, you know, for maybe vanity reasons, maybe they maybe they but I think for many of them have told me it's just safety. They don't want creeps hunting them down and knowing too much about where they live and things like that, but they want to use it as a professional network. So you see that all the time for all kinds of reasons. I work with a lot of people that are in um, security, DoD type spaces where they have to be very careful what they do provide on these social media networks. Some of them, their jobs will not allow them to put things, so they have to put other things to be on them, because some of them, their job is to be on these platforms, maybe a little secretly. So, but that happens all the time. So, so you as the parent are sitting here looking at this, well, that's a decent option if you've got concerns, you know, getting them to do it where they only use it with you looking over their shoulder. But you know, that's I'll leave that ethical dilemma up to you. So whatever you do, if you're a student and you're watching this, make sure you talk to your parents about that before you do it, because quite frankly, having your parents LinkedIn, the first suggestion is, or your sibling or somebody else's LinkedIn, and going in there and using it to do the searches actually might be easier, because number one, they already have an account set up, and number two, they already have connections. And the more you can have connections on LinkedIn, the better your search will be. Okay, so that's where we are with Jackson's question about using LinkedIn for career planning. So reiterate, and I noticed in the comments that we have, we have posted out that we've got, we've actually got a coupon that is going out, for career planning. If you look over there in the comments, and this is even if you're watching, most people watch this afterwards, but there is a coupon over there for career planning and for building your own business, our entrepreneurship product, and how money works. I don't know if they have coupons or not, but it's in there. I'm trying to read this on the fly. And there's our emails that are in there, also in there. So if you are interested and you are looking for help and you want to move faster, and especially when we find a lot of people who are getting in their senior year and they're really trying to make decisions about college. Is that what I want to do? If I do, what do I do? Because quite frankly, we show up at the university to get a degree in something, and oftentimes we don't really know what that looks like. So getting some experience just talking to people before you go get a degree is a wonderful path to go. All right. I'm going to leave it at that today. Let me this guy off here. I don't know how to turn. Okay. We're going to leave it at that today. And if you have questions, just please let us know. And if there's any way you can help, and this goes for all of our products and services, just shoot us an email. Any way we can get you some help. All right. We will see you next week. Thank you for your time.